Welcome to NuttieBuddie Entertainment.
Welcome back to NuttieBuddie Entertainment. And on today's clip here on YouTube, what we're going to do, Brian and I, we are going to just real briefly talk about some of the rumors coming out of the Kenobi series. Kind of about the villain, Reva. Is that how we say it? Reva?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well,
Reva?
we're going to call her Reva. We're going to talk about the article because what did you say? Could it be?
Or isn't it Reva?
Reva, yeah.
Yeah, Reva or Reva?
Reva. We'll call her Reva.
Yeah.
Reva
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Reva sounds
There we
good.
go.
And if we're wrong, just let us know how stupid we are in the comments below. But we're just going to take a brief second to talk about this article in the Bespin Bulletin, because it talked about how the villain's revealed, and that again, there's only going to be 6 episodes of the Kenobi series, and it sounds like according to this, they could be focusing a lot on this character. So you just want to give me and we're going, by the way, we're going to preview the Kenobi series when it gets closer to it, and we're also going to do reactions after each episode. So Brian, I sent you this article, just wanted to talk about it. What did you think of this article about this villain and the reports here?
I think it would be cool if we get a perspective of like a Jedi turn Sith Inquisitor. Like, that's pretty cool, but you've got a show that's called Kenobi, and if we're not getting, every episode has Obi-Wan in it, then we're not getting a show called Kenobi. It's the same issue that you get with Boba Fett, where we have 2 episodes that are just the Mandalorian story. So
I agree. I'm not this sounds like her story actually sounds like a really fascinating story to have her own series almost, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah. Once again, start a show called the Side Series or something like that, so you can give these cool little tidbits of characters, but not just shoehorn them in for series where it's focused on one character.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of us have been waiting for this series of Obi-Wan for the past how many years, right? So we just want as much information on what Obi-Wan's going through and how he's kind of protecting Luke and avoiding being detected by the Empire, because obviously Vader would be searching for him because he knows Kenobi isn't dead. And I think we're going to get that stuff, but it sounds like it's definitely going to be a little bit more focused on her as well. And I know you need side characters in every TV show, and you got to kind of like focus on them a little bit, but it sounds like she could be a main focus of the show alongside of Kenobi.
Yeah, we love Clone Wars, and we got that relationship with Anakin and Obi-Wan, and you're hoping that most of it will be focused on them, but then having this story, it seems like it won't be. So how much of Vader are we actually going to get in the series? Was hoping that it'd only be almost be like 50-50, but it seems like we're gonna get a lot less of Christian Haydenson than and maybe more of her in it instead. So
yeah, and that would be unfortunate. So this is the part of I'm just going to read this part of the article, because like, to me, this is the like, I was like, oh really? So this is what reportedly it says it will provide viewers with flashbacks of Reva's life, showing fans glimpses of her as a child being taken away from her family and being turned into a warrior for the Jedi. The horrors of Order 66, which I actually kind of think that's interesting. The horrors of 66. And then finally, her being forced to choose between death and working for the Empires. And then we'll get a dynamic between her and her fellow Inquisitors, the Grand Inquisitors, belittling her along with her abilities, potentials, and pitting her against the 5th brother. So what I find interesting, first of all, are they implying that the Jedi took her away from her family?
Yes, they are. Which, I mean, technically that is what the Jedi do.
But so the only we've never seen that, right? Like the only time I remember seeing something like that was when Ahsoka saved these kids and she encouraged the mom to let the Jedi take the kids to protect them. I always assumed that the Jedi like asked the parents.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I more got the feeling that they didn't. Like, if they found someone who was force sensitive, they almost just took them and like, you need to learn how to use the power, sort of thing. Um, I don't know. That was in my mind. I like when this kind of synopsis came out, I'm like, okay, that is actually interesting because, you know, not every kid wants to become a Jedi. And so if they are taken away from their family, even who knows what her family situation was, maybe her family was gone and she didn't want to, get taken or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It is interesting, but once again, it's like I don't know if we need that in this show, but
Okay. Yeah, because like I guess I don't why
we've only seen, young Padawans, you know, never seen them being taken or anything, or like a young Anakin, he had the choice. I mean, even there, he had to make a choice of like leaving his mom to slavers still, or doing that. So, he didn't want to leave, but he left because he knew he had to. So, yeah, I don't know. In my mind, I always thought like there are some Jedi or Padawans or younglings that, were maybe taken away from their family.
But okay, so what's sort of confusing? So I always assume that like person like I always assume they ask the parents like, hey, your kid's force sensitive. Do you mind if we just take them for being a Jedi? I thought they were too young to remember their family as well.
Yeah.
Because Anakin was too old.
Well, I think that's the reason they take them so young, so they can't remember their family. But I don't know like if the family is okay with it or not. Maybe the family is, but you're supposed to have no attachments whatsoever.
Right.
So the better you can't remember your family, the more you're going to be a good Jedi. So, if you still semi remember your family and you hold on to that attachment, then you could blame the Jedi for, not having that family there. But yeah, I don't know if the parents are okay with it or not, or if it's a scenario of uh they're getting taken by, not by force, I want to say, but yeah.
I just don't feel like the Jedi. I get like there's some things that they do that are sketchy. Like some people don't like. It's funny to me because like the Jedi Order has become something like hated by people. Like, and I'm just like, I don't quite understand it. I know that it's an imperfect, like.
Well, after watching episode 1, like we just did, and going through, we saw how the Jedi Council were, and they were kind of just like, jaded and thought they were always right. So I wouldn't put it past them of just being like, they need to learn the Force, so they're coming with us, sort of a thing.
But don't you think that like would turn like so people have this higher perception of Jedi, right? So like if they're like stealing kids, basically, don't you think that like people would like turn on them?
I mean, some do. I don't know. I always felt like it was mixed with the Jedi, especially watching it through the Clone Wars. Like some people liked them, some people didn't. So, yeah, some of the reasons just might be that the Jedi, weren't as good as you thought they were,
Yeah, like man, I don't know.
It's gonna. I feel like this is gonna shift your thinking of how to perceive like them. I don't know. It's going to change things. Definitely. You're getting this weird perspective as you see with her, she obviously maybe didn't want to become a Jedi at first, and then didn't see the difference of, having the choice of becoming a Sith instead and doing that. So
that's would go back to like if she felt like she was forced to be a Jedi, was she old enough to remember her family? Because if she's old enough to remember her family, then it's kind of like inconsistent in continuity of like them trying to get them before they know their family, because they don't train everybody apparently who have force sensitivity. They have to get them at a certain point. So what
I
my
guess we have to see, was she a Jedi Knight? Was she a Padawan when she was taken? You know, how long has gone by since that's kind of gone on? I don't know.
yeah, I don't kind of like here. My thing is like, to me, and I'm I guess a little pessimistic about this, is like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think George Lucas intended people to hate the Jedi. And I feel like Disney is sort of like, I think he wanted to show why the Jedi lost their way, right? That they became arrogant in a position of power, and they didn't see anybody coming as a threat. You know,
Yeah.
like they were
Well,
in this position
yeah.
for 10,000 years or whatever, right? Because that's when the last known Sith was,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't think this perspective is gonna make you hate the Jedi. I think it just makes you see them in a fuller view of, you know, every Jedi has their own mind. I mean, Count Dooku was a Jedi before he, you know, turned, as well as wasn't the Inquisitor, he was a Jedi Temple guard or something like that.
Yeah, I think all
So
Inquisitors are technically, they were Jedis
yeah,
turned Sith. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, with that coming into the picture, you know, obviously not everybody. I don't know. I feel like it'd be hard to believe that everybody who was taken to become a Jedi wanted that, and you know, because everyone's personality is different, everybody's background is different on how they come in. So
Yeah, I could see like her not wanting to be there, like as she's being trained. The thing that I'm like is being taken away from her family. It's like, well, if they're supposed to be perceived good, like who would look at somebody doing that as a good guy?
mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? That's where you're kind
Well,
of losing me.
did the article say she was taken away from her family, or did we just say that?
No, it says showing fans glimpses of her as a child being taken away from her family,
Okay.
being trained into a warrior for the Jedi. The other thing, I did hear something that, like, I was like, okay, that could be it. Like that there wasn't just one. There was that obviously the Jedi Order and the Jedi Council, but apparently
Mhm.
there were other Jedi, like,
Oh yeah,
sub
yeah,
Jedi groups, and it could have been
yeah.
one of the sub Jedi groups that
Something. Yeah.
takes her with more of a, what's it called, dogmatic view or
Yeah.
whatever of it, which I'm like, okay, well, I can kind of see that then.
Yeah.
But I get people hate the Jedi Order. I see why. I don't think people actually like really think about the choices that they made too much. I don't think they like really think it all the way through, and they're like, well, they don't let people have attachments, so they're bad. But it's like, well, their whole goal isn't to make sure there's no Sith. So like,
Mm.
you know, what does attachment lead to? Anger, you know, greed, jealousy. You know, when you see somebody you love somebody else, that's jealousy. That, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, attachments can lead to this. And then, you know, you obviously have the positive aspect of the attachments, but the Jedi looked at it like, hey, what's the lesser of two evils? That's in my mind. They looked at it wasn't the perfect choice, but you had two choices, and they're like, what's the lesser of two evils? So we don't want any Sith, so let's just say, hey, you can't have any attachments. You know, I kind of understand where they were coming from. Not that I necessarily agreed with it, but man,
No, yeah.
I just don't want them to ruin the Jedi. That's all I'm saying. Like, I get that they weren't perfect, but let's not have them be children
I
snatchers
don't
too.
necessarily think it'll ruin it. I think it'll just show a broader perspective on, you know, because they're all Jedi are not the same. Obviously, with
That's true.
Qui-Gon Jinn, his perspective on things were completely different than others. So I think it'll give us a glimpse of, you know, maybe one Order of the Jedi was completely different. Maybe they did take kids, you know, who had force sensitivity, and, you know, they didn't ask, they just took them and, you know, trained them to be warriors. So for the greater good, sort of thing. So
Or maybe like it could be like they asked the parents, and the parents felt like they had to let the
yeah,
Jedi, you know, like maybe some, most asked, but maybe some didn't too, like, because obviously in any organization there's bad apples, like, you know what I'm saying, like they're sort of extremist.
Yeah, it'd be something different if we end up finding out that she's Mace Windu's Padawan and like she has all this resentment or something. It's got to be some sort of, B-side characters that aren't like with the Jedi Council sort of thing. That'd be kind of wild if they were to, incorporate that into it. So
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I agree. That would be pretty wild. So yeah, anyway, that was such a side rant, I guess, about the Jedi. I just I get everybody hates them or whatever, dislikes them, but it's like, do we have to like pile on at this point? They were supposed to be the good guys of the time and they just lost their way. That's what George did with them, right? He didn't want to make them out to be like villains. So I don't know. Anyway, so obviously this article to me was a little bit worrisome. Obviously we're going to watch it, so we'll just have to wait and see how it comes out. But
hopefully, I don't know, maybe it's a little misleading. Maybe there's just a one episode kind of arc, because I know in the preview that they had, she's on Tatooine and we see Uncle what's Luke's uncle?
Owen. Uncle Owen.
Owen. Yeah. Uncle Owen's there in the crowd. So maybe it's a scenario where she finds Luke and she has a decision like, are you willing to kill these, a child basically? And maybe she doesn't, and Vader kills her. Who knows? It could be just something as simple as that, where she's just got a choice and she decides not to go full Sith. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully I'm with you there. But let's just keep it about Kenobi. That's all I'm saying. Is like, let's Vader and Kenobi, if that's what we're going to do.
Exactly. And I have a feeling we're not going to get as much Vader as we'd like, but yeah.
Well, I want Vader, but I also don't want, we'll talk about this during our preview, but I really don't want him and Obi-Wan to meet, because the continuity within the universe then is destroyed, and I don't want that. I tell you, man, that's
continuity.
Listen, you can't. It's like you're just trying. At some point, they're just ignoring and trying to destroy George Lucas's Star Wars, and I'm not having that. Like, you can't do that, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's how I feel. It doesn't mean other people have to feel that way. You can like whatever they're doing, but I'm just like that. Come on.
No, yeah. I don't know. There's been rumors that they have some sort of fight scene or something, but I don't know if I believe that. I feel like the go between Vader and Obi-Wan is gonna be her somehow, obviously with the connection of the Inquisitor. So her trying to find lost Jedi, and if they do have some sort of fight scene or something like that, that just kind of that messes up episode 6. So
anyway, okay, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, well, for everybody watching, I hope you like the video. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video. Put your comments in the comments below if there's what you think of this article and what they're going to do with Reva. What we called her like 6 different names. Like Reva.
Yeah.
Reva. Let us know what you think about it, and if you would like to see Obi-Wan and Vader fight in this series. I think people are going to, I'm going to be excited to watch it. I'm just going to be really upset that they break continuity.
Same,
yeah. So anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and we will talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for listening to Brian and I discuss the Kenobi series and what we thought of the new villain and the possibility of the show being centered around her instead of more so Kenobi. It'll be an interesting watch. We're still very excited regardless. Hopefully it is a great series. If you'd like to listen to more Star Wars content, we have a bunch of clips that you can watch, and we also released a podcast where we did The Great, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with Star Wars Episode 1. Just click on one of the links below. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Thanks so much for watching, and we hope you have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you guys soon.